Hi, welcome or welcome back to Books and Bocadillos. My name is Maria Andrea, and I am here for a weekend review video. It's been a couple of weeks since my last video, and I'm going to be talking about my reading and what's been going on in the last 2 weeks. And I want to start out with highs and lows. I have my journal here just to help guide my thoughts. So for a high, this weekend has been a high all weekend has just been one big high. I was telling my husband earlier that this has felt like a really culturally rich um, weekend of joy, and then there's been so much joy just in the last couple of days, and I really needed that. There's been a lot of like sadness and uncertainty and anguish and worry um, because of the political climate that we're experiencing. Um, it hasn't been uncommon. It's been all too common with what's happening with raids and people in fear and people um, gone missing. And so just dealing with all of that has been really tough. Um, but this weekend, I got to dial down a bit on the worry and the sadness and the sorrow. And I really just got to try to like enjoy and just enjoy the present, enjoy each day, and that's what I got to do this weekend. So Friday night, I got to go have dinner with a friend, and then our mutual friends had a quinceañera this weekend. Their daughter turned 15, and we got invited. So we got all dressed up and went and did some dancing and just really enjoy time with friends and celebration of um, young adulthood. I used to hate quinceañeras when I was a teenager. But now, as a 40 something, I really find a lot of joy in a quinceañera. So I was really happy to go and um, enjoy the community, enjoy the fun, the dancing, the hopefulness, just, and everything's so pretty. The quinceañera looked lovely in her big princess ball gown, and it was beautiful. Um, and then today we went to visit my in-laws. Well, I got to go to my favorite restaurant for brunch, and that was a treat. And then we went to my in-laws, and we had a fun afternoon. Just went to go get raspas and played loteria and just had a good time. Um, cut up some watermelon, had just a good old time. I made some really good guacamole, so it was just a good day, and I was grateful for it. Lows. Honestly, like I think one of the biggest lows, especially like regarding, I mean, there's a lot of like lows just politically and socially, and I won't get into that because I know that that's not why people watch my channel, and I don't want to get into the politics too much right now in this video. But politics aside, um, a low for me was last weekend. I didn't get on here to post because there's just too much going on. One, there was flooding in Texas, and it's just really sad what was happening in the hill country and all the people that were missing in the flood, and now we know a lot of people have died, and that was going on as the 4th of July stuff was going on, and and if you know, you know, like what's going on politically, stuff was going on, and And then here on Booktube, like the chaos just kind of was all over the place. It rolled on into the Booktube space with just a real sadness about what happened with the pile-on for Carl at Please Read Your Book, and then he deleted his channel, and we didn't know like what had happened, um, and then it's been really glad now to be on this end, on like the other side of things, and know that he's bringing back his channel and he's coming back. And I consider Carl a friend, so I was really glad to see him back in his channel space, and um, acquired a new friend on Instagram, and that was really nice. But yeah, I think all in all, like all of the conflict and all of the sadness and all of the heaviness of everything that was happening in the world, in the larger world, and then in my country, and then on Booktube, and then even just down to like at work, got called in, got called about a difficult situation on Sunday, and I was really stressed about that, and so at work, and so it was just life in general just felt like everywhere there were like little fires everywhere, and it was a bit overwhelming. It was a bit too much last weekend, and I just didn't have the energy for Booktube last weekend. I just kind of felt drained and concerned and angry and sad and bothered and all the feels. Just too much. Now, moving on to what I've been posting in terms of community posts on my channel. I have been posting, I think I've posted at least twice, a short, like a YA book stack in a short form video. So what I've been doing is just grabbing 5 books off my shelves and going through and talking about how they might fit in a poker hand. So I'll talk about like whether like they would fit for like a book in translation or a romance or horror, and like how you might fit them in to like come up with a poker hand for the August reading event. So those have been fun to make because I feel like I want to like talk about YA books more, and it's kind of a really quick and easy way to do it. So I've been doing that. I don't know if you've watched them or what you think, but I haven't received much engagement with them, but I have enjoyed talking about YA books off my shelves. And then tags. I have not done any tags. I have a lot of tags that I want to do. Today I saw Jack from Spread Book Joy post like a new version of the Freak Out tag, but it's like a mid-year stay calm, carry on kind of a tag. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed those questions, and I haven't been tagged in it, but I might just do it. And I know I have other friends who've tagged me in other videos that other tags that they've made that I really want to do. So I have some tags I want to work on. Hoping to get to a tag soon. I'm really seeing like a possible way to like have more time um, to make a couple more videos a month, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So that's something I'm looking forward to. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, next, books that I've read. I don't have any of these books in physical form. I have finished 2 books in the last 2 weeks, and I don't have them. The first one is In the Unlikely Event by Judy Blume. This was a book that I checked out from the public library, and it's been returned. And it was a really, really good book. It was Judy Blume's adult fiction book. I think she has a couple of adult fiction books, and this is one of them. And I loved it. I don't remember if I gave it 4 or 5 stars, but I really, really liked it. I I think it was one of those where there's multiple POVs, and it kind of felt like a contemporary Middlemarch sort of book where you're seeing different people in a community and um, still coming back to one central character, but you have several voices and several storylines unfolding at the same time, and it just feels like a really, it felt like a really good book. I really, really enjoyed it. Have you read In the Unlikely Event? What did you think? If you've read it, I think it's definitely a book I might pick up again. Um, yeah, I really liked it, and it has really great YA characters, and it's not for young adults, but I think an older young adult would like it. It's, I think so. Then I have Woodworking by Emily St. James. I loved this book. I read this book with Melinda at a Web of Stories. I didn't get on with The Transition Baby, which Melinda and I both read in the month of June. It was a Pride Month pick for both of us, and through Melinda's book club. And I did not get on with it. I DNF'd it. And then I was listening to the Protocol podcast episode, I think from the New York Times, and I really like the Protocol. And Melinda recommended Woodworking to me, and actually a couple of other people in the book club recommended Woodworking to both of us. So I really enjoyed Woodworking. 5-star book. It was a story that was told two main point of views, but then there's a third point of view that comes into the rotation of POV. Like halfway through, we see another perspective enter, and I loved it. I loved the multiple points of views. I loved the characters. I thought the characterization was so well done. I felt like these people were in my life, and I felt like they were real, like they weren't characters, like they were people that I knew. And then in the author's note, Emily St. James said that the characters were based on people she knows in real life. And so they're real life story, like people who inspired these characters. So she said, if you don't know a trans person, now you do. And I really felt like I did. I felt like I knew these um, women because they were trans women, and I felt like I knew them. I knew the women, and I was friends with them. And it was such a great book. That's a book I definitely would want to reread because it was so good. And this is a book. Woodworking is a book that I would highly recommend. I think it's one of those books that I wish everybody would read. I think that just how I felt about Disability Visibility by Alice Wong. I think Alice Wong is the name of the author of Disability Visibility. Just like I felt about that book, I feel about Woodworking that the world would be a better place if everyone read Woodworking. I think Woodworking might be my favorite book of the year. If I had to guess what my best book of 2025 will be come December 31st, I probably am going to say, I think I'm going to say Woodworking then, but I guess we'll see. Maybe another book will surprise me, but right now I think it's the best book I've read so far this year. I am still currently reading Deenie by Judy Blume. Is a YA book I really want to read because I want to make an author profile on Judy Blume books, YA Judy Blume books. books, and I have not read Deenie, so I'm still trying to read it. I'm still listening to the audiobook. It's a reread for me, or re-listen. Blackwater Sister by Zancho. And I'm almost done. Like, I'm just a few pages away from finishing The Art of Racing in the Rain, and I was trying to get it finished today so that I could talk about it, but I had so much fun hanging out with family that I took it with me thinking, okay, maybe I can hide into a corner somewhere, tuck myself away and read while everybody else is having a good time. But I got caught up in the good time, and I was in the present with my husband's family, and I just kind of I actually put my bag away and didn't go into it. But I guess it's a sign of having a good time and living in the present and living in the moment. So I'm not mad I didn't finish it, but I really wanted to finish it today because I'm like this close. And I picked up The Art of Racing in the Rain because I'm processing grief, and I am really interested in reading books about grief. And so this is my grief book. I have a feeling that at least for the next several months, probably until March of next year, I'm going to give myself a year of grieving and reading about grief. I think I just need to have a grief book in my reading rotation. Maybe I'll extend it, who knows? But at least for now, I'm kind of telling myself it's okay to just have something about grief to read as I'm grieving. So I don't know how life will play out, but I think I'm probably going to be reading about grief for a little while. And I started a Midsummer Night's Dream. This was the Bardroom pick. Melinda's The Bardroom. Melinda at Web Stories. She has a group on her Discord named Bardroom, and we read plays from the collection of William Shakespeare. The June pick was A Midsummer Night's Dream. I talked about this in a previous video. I didn't start it when I meant to start it because I'd lost it, and I found it and I started it. And I've been just kind of reading it kind of slowly. It's a short book. It's a short play. I should be able to finish it quickly. I meant to sit with it this weekend, but again, I was having a really fun weekend, so I didn't get any reading done this weekend because I was having a good old time with friends and family. And I'm also rereading East of Eden by John Steinbeck, and this is also this is for Summer of Steinbeck, and it's also one of my books for Big Book Summer. So I'm still in the first 100 pages, so I'm not gonna talk about it just yet, but I'm really enjoying it. I loved East of Eden when I read it in high school, and I'm still loving it. I think it is such a well-written novel. I love the strong sense of place, and I think that was what John Steinbeck meant to do. He meant to write a book about the Salinas Valley, and I feel like he does that so well. His writing, not just in this book, but I feel like every Steinbeck book I've read, the place is a character in and of itself, and it's such a vivid exploration of place, and I just love the sense of place in East of Eden, and every Steinbeck that I've read, but really in East of Eden. I find that it's more of a philosophical saga than anything. I see it as it's constantly prompting me to wonder and question, and I am a questioner. I live in the land of questions, and when I am reading a book that makes me question, and it kind of like I mean, John Steinbeck has the pearl, but like, you know how like an oyster makes a pearl because they're scratching, and I feel like John Steinbeck does this through his writing. At least in East of Eden, that's the case for me. Like it's making me constantly question. It's like that little itch to question um, morality and values and family and um, sin and redemption and good and evil and life and death and uh, family. Like I feel like it really, really makes me like have feelings and questions constantly. Like every page is like engaging my philosophical mind. Like I'm, having these like larger existential questions about faith and family and sin and forgiveness and redemption, just good and evil, and oh my goodness. I'm like, it's a lot, and but I enjoy that kind of book. So I don't know, I'm still really enjoying it. I want to go back and like talk more about it maybe in a future video, but I think for now, first 100 pages, it's bringing back how I felt about it in high school and how much I loved it then. I'm not feeling disappointed. Like I'm not reading it in a different way just yet, but maybe as I'm listening to others' perspectives and maybe others' experiences might help shade in. Maybe I'll think about it in new ways that I had not thought about it before, and I'm looking forward to that. That's why I wanted to read it in a group, because I read it by myself in high school. It was a book that I chose to read for a reading challenge for my um, American English, American English class. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to take others' perspectives and help myself experience a book in a different way. And that's the wonder of reading in community. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm also reading. I started Untamed Shore by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Untamed Shore is the July pick for the Books and Bocadillos book club that I host. I don't know if anybody's reading this book with me this month. I might be the only one reading Untamed Shore. But I chose Untamed Shore by Silvia Moreno Garcia for the month of July because I knew that Giallo July was going to be a thing. And I really enjoyed Giallo July last year, and I wanted to make sure I had a thriller to read in the month of July. So if I don't read any other Giallos or thrillers, I will have read Untamed Shore. It is a thriller. It is a murder mystery. I'm curious to see how it all unfolds and what we learn about this dark and potentially nefarious situation that our protagonist is in as a hired translator in Baja California. So, I don't know. At first, it was giving me a little bit of Mexican Gothic vibes with this foreigner family, a family of foreigners coming in to Baja California, and they're mysterious and there's something weird about them. There's something maybe like from the onset you're kind of expecting it to be just maybe because you know it's a thriller, you know someone's gonna die. But I initially started getting like Mexican Gothic vibes. Not so much anymore. I think the writing has gone in a different direction and the characters are different, and now that I'm more steeped in the story, I'm not feeling like I'm reading Mexican Gothic again, but a little bit of that initially. And then I also just started this weekend Emma by Jane Austen, and this is the book, the book picked for the group read for Jane Austen July is Emma. It's my first time reading Emma. It's also a big book, so it's also counts for my big book summer stack, which I'm excited. Think I've read 3 or 4 big books so far. So yeah, that's been fun. Community, like community things I want to talk about in terms of the Booktube community. You know what? I did do a post about cats. My friend Cat, Curious Cat, did a book haul, and I did a community post. I reposted her video because she put came into my feed yesterday, so that yesterday was Saturday, and I watched it in the morning on Saturday morning, and it was kind of like watching Saturday morning cartoons because it gave me that feel of like I'm with a friend, and just kind of like Saturday morning cartoons are comforting. So I had that comforting feeling when I was watching Kat's video, and I have a stack of books like right here that I had been meaning to talk about in a book haul video, and I'd been putting it off and putting it off, not knowing like when to fit in a book haul into my channel. I don't really like to record book hauls. I know people like to watch book hauls, but I don't like to make book hauls, book haul videos. I just kind of feel like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a private person and I don't really want to show off my spending and what I spend my money on, and I feel like I'm contributing to consumerism, and I maybe don't feel like that's something I want to do. Um, but I know that people enjoy them, and I know that I enjoyed them. I enjoy Kat's book haul video, and you always find books that you didn't know about, and it's really fun to find that. So I get why book hauls are popular, and I understand why they're fun to watch. I enjoy them. I enjoy watching them. I don't enjoy making them. But when I saw Kat's video, I thought like, oh, maybe I'll just hop on the book haul bandwagon and I'll do my own book haul. And I did try to film a book haul yesterday before I was going to get ready for the quinceañera. And I was talking and talking and talking in front of this camera, and I'm still like checking to see that it's actually recording, because what happened yesterday, I think I was like more than 20 minutes in, and I realized that I wasn't recording. And I had already like done a couple of like, I start recording and then, I don't, something is not like I mess up, and I didn't want to do too much editing. So I deleted it and I started again, and it had been like that a couple of times. And then finally I was like in it, and I was like full speed. I was doing so good, and I was, I kind of found my rhythm with this book haul. And then I was about to like finish, and I don't know what how I realized like I'm not recording, and then I was like, I'm done. I needed to get ready for the quinceañera. I had stuff I still needed to do, so I was like, nope, I'm done for now. So Booktube, I owe you a book haul. And then I also watched a video in the last couple of days from Angela at Angela's Bookshelf. And Angela made a video about books about grief. And that resonated with me because I am reading books about grief. I'm always reading books about grief for just my job. Working in hospice, I just always like to be reading books about grief. And I'm always open to doing book clubs with others about grief, like books about grief. But I'm also grieving in my personal like emotions, my personal self. I'm grieving, and so I'm also looking for books to talk about grief. So Angela's video really resonated with me, and I commented to her that when I am ready, I don't know when that will be, but when I am ready and when I've read a good stack of books that I can recommend about grief, then I'm going to mirror her video, kind of like tag her and tag her video, and just a response video towards, but maybe like a book, a video mirror of like books about grief that I would recommend, inspired by Angela's video. So that's something that really inspired me and really resonated with me this weekend. Then I'm collaborating, and I've been in communication with Suey at Suey's Book Banter, and we're trying to come up with ideas for videos we want to record between now and through the month of August for August. So stay tuned, because I think Suey and I are going to do some videos that correlate with each other, and like kind of have an ongoing conversation back and forth between our channels in the month of August that I'm looking forward to. We have a tag video that we're going to be putting out into the world the first week of August that anybody can do for in celebration of August. So that could be a way of participating in August, even if you don't have a poker hand but you want to do a tag. That would be another way to participate in August. And that's been a lot of fun. So thank you, Suey, for collaborating with me on just the fun and the joy of August. K-Tropathon. I am really excited about K-Tropathon. I'm participating in it, and I have a couple of books that I'm going to see if I can get to. Human Acts by Han Kang is one that I'll be starting soon. As soon as I finish one of the books that I'm about to finish, I'll start Human Acts. And I also have The Forest of Stolen Girls by June Her. I have it on my Kindle. If I don't get to it this month, maybe I'll try to fit it into a poker hand. But I would like to read it for K-Tropathon, so we'll see how it works out. And then, finally, I made a video this week, and that got sent over to Allie at a Genteel Black Hole. And I was really happy to be able to contribute to the poetry party that Allie will be hosting soon. Well, he's hosting it already. We're all, like, people who are contributing are sending poetry videos his way, so he can consolidate them into one big poetry party video. And that was really fun to record and to send, and just to be in touch with him has been just a delight. And I'm really happy that we got to connect here on Booktube and be friends. And I'm excited to be a part of this poetry party. So that was a big highlight for the community part of Booktube. And I mentioned Giallo in July. I'm reading Untamed Shore. I have a Giallo Fantastique book that it's a collection of fantasy, Giallo, like thriller fantasy. I love the mashup of thriller and fantasy. So it's got some fantastical elements, and they're thrillery, and it's a short story collection. So I'm probably not going to read it in its entirety, but maybe if I can read a couple of short stories in the month of July for Giallo July, that would be wonderful. And I haven't been saying this because I don't want to really talk about it too much, but I'm also judging for the Booktube prize. So I'm currently in the current semi-finals round. So I'm reading some books for that round. I was a judge a couple of rounds ago, and then I took a break, and now I'm in this round. And I haven't decided. I may sign up to read for the final, but I'll think about that later. But yeah, I have that. So I think that's why there's been interruptions in the books that I've read, because I started them when I wasn't a judge, and then I put them on pause because I'm reading the book price books. So that's what's going on. And then a podcast that I want to talk about. So I've always loved this podcast. It's Hey YA, it's a Book Riot podcast. I listen to it. I used to listen to it a lot more often. I haven't been listening to a lot of the Book Riot podcasts recently because I've been, I think I've been consuming political podcasts a lot more and reading podcasts a lot less, at least in the last couple of years. So I kind of fell off my routine of listening to all like the Book Riot podcasts that I'd been listening to. But I got back into Hey YA, mostly like for inspiration and as I'm working on my TBR for August, but also just because I just love YA books, since I'm always looking for recommendations for YA. And there was an interview that I listened to in the last week, and it was an interview with authors Erin, Entrada Kelly, and Kwame Mbalia for their new release for this year titled On Again, Awkward Again, a rom-com. The Book Riot Hey YA podcast episode was published on May 21st of this year, and it was a delight. That interview was just delightful. I was laughing out loud, smiling constantly. I loved getting to know Erin Entrada Kelly and Kwame Mbalia through this video. It was just so much fun to listen to, and I cannot wait to read On Again, Awkward Again. I don't have it. I was going to go and see if I could find it at the library to check it out because it sounds like such a fun book to read. It sounds like it's for younger YA, but I I think that so both authors tend to do more middle grade books, but they really wanted to do a novel for that young YA, like the younger YA, because that they're right. Like they talked about how that younger YA population oftentimes gets like lost between middle grade and YA, more of the like older YA books that are popular. And there's not a lot of like fun books. Like I mean, there are a lot of fun books, but not in comparison to the ones that are written more for like the older YA teens. So I'm really curious to read this book. This one is one that I want to read, and I'm thinking I'm going to love it. And I think it would be a wonderful collection to add to my bookshelf so that way when my YA people come to my house, they might be able to enjoy it. And for food, I'm okay. So talking about loving to have the young people in my life over, I am hoping that my nephew comes over in the next week. So I'm looking forward to visit from my nephew, who is 7 years old. And I am loving this stage of, I love 8-year-olds. My goodness, I think 8-year-olds are my favorite age. Like, I love an 8-year-old. My 7-year-old is so fun, and I love having a 7-year-old nephew. But I'm looking forward to like the next couple of years in that age zone. I think that 7, 8, 9-year-olds are just the most fun. That's my my love is like that age. Love them. So I'm hoping that he will come over and maybe watch some movies, and I know he likes playing video games. So and he loves to read. So we might do some reading together. He's loving Dogman, so I'm reading Dogman, and I'm thinking about making some vegan cheesy popcorn. So I found a recipe from the New York Times that I want to try, and I'll link that as my food pick, my highlighted food for the week. But yeah, vegan cheesy popcorn. I think that's something I want to try to make from scratch in a Dutch oven, and I'm just looking forward to it. I hope it's a success. And okay, other things I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to August. I hope that y'all have been able to watch the announcement video. So in editing, I cut out, I did a splice and I cut out like a sentence. And so I'm just gonna redo this part of the video. So I was talking about things I'm looking forward to, and I mentioned Yagas just now. And the part where I accidentally like spliced a bit that needed to be edited and cut into a sentence was I started talking about um, the event that Crystal from Fiber Artsy and two other co-hosts are hosting, and it's the Dear Pedro Pascal, You're Perfect-a-thon reading event at the end of July. And so I am going to start talking about how brilliant this event is and how I thought it's just so much fun and what I think I'm going to be reading for the reading prompts for this event. If you want to know more about this event, check out the hosts announcement videos and their TBR videos for this event. They're a lot of fun to watch. So it's just a fun reading event and very joyful and really focused on self-care. So I appreciate that so much, and I'll let my previous self continue her conversation about this reading event and potential books I might be reading. And I think it's brilliant. So I cannot wait. I'm looking forward to it. It's the Dear Pedro Pascal, You're Perfect-a-thon reading event. I'm so excited for this. It's so fun and it's such a sweet and fun and just like so much. It oozes fun to me. Like I'm just like sucked right into just the fun of gushing over Pedro Pascal. Because why not? So it's about reading books that he narrates. It's about reading books that he has recommended or books he has said he loves, and also celebrating Chilean authors because he is Chilean. So the books that I so far, there's a lot of different prompts. There's like other things that are not reading related, but the ones that are reading related. I want to read Franny and Zooey by J.D. Salinger because this is one of Pedro Pascal's favorite books. And I think that it's going to be a good one to try to fit in to August. Because I think Franny and Zooey would be considered a YA if YA was a thing when it was published. And I had started to read a book by a Chilean author. I had started reading Sangre en el Ojo. The title in English is Seeing Red. I was reading the Spanish Sangre en el Ojo by Lina Meruane. And Lina Meruane is Chilean, but she is also of Palestinian descent. So I started it at the beginning of the year, and I didn't finish it. I kind of put a pause in it. You all know if you've been following my channel, ups and downs, and just it's been a year. So I didn't finish it, but I didn't DNF it. I did mean to come back to it, and I was waiting for the right opportunity to come back to it, and so here we are. Now not that I have to. Now I want to read a book by a Chilean author, and I'm gonna just pick right up where I left off with Lina Meruane's Sangre en el Ojo. If you're interested, Seeing Red. I want to say this is autofic. So it's part autobiography, some parts I think are fictional, but draws on her some like real life stuff. So I'm picking that up. And then for a book that Pedro Pascal narrates, I think I'm gonna go with Beverly Cleary's Dear Mr. Henshaw. I don't think I read this book when I was a kid. I mean, I remember seeing it on the shelves. I remember I loved Beverly Cleary. I've read all the Ramona books, and I read The Mouse and the Motorcycle and all those books, and I read some of the um, Henry Higgins, but I don't remember Dear Mr. Henshaw. I may have read it and just forgotten that I had read it, but I think I'm going to reread it so that I can find out if it's a reread or if I'm reading it for the first time. And what better thing than to listen to the audiobook and have Pedro Pascal narrate it? Like, yay! And okay, I've never read The Hunger Games. I've watched The Hunger Games, never read The Hunger Games. And The Hunger Games is a big YA hit, and it might be a book that Suey and I will be talking about in the month of August. I think it will be a book that we're going to be talking about in the month of August. And I really need to read it. And Suey told me that I need to read The Hunger Games because I must, because watching the movie is not enough. And now The Hunger Games has that really beautiful like box set. I don't have it. I want it eventually. But it's not a priority in my spending right now. So I ended up putting the Hunger Games on hold at the library. And the wait is super long, but if I don't get the Hunger Games in English, I know that the Hunger Games in Spanish is available and I can just click borrow and get it read. So if I don't get the Hunger Games in English, if my hold doesn't come in before August, then I'm probably going to read it in Spanish because that's going to be faster. And I'm not ready to spend money on the really beautiful box set because I don't want to just go buy a copy. I want to buy the set. So anyway, I think if my hold doesn't come in, I'm going to read the Spanish. Can't remember the title in Spanish, but El Juego, is it El Juego de Hambre? I don't even remember the title in Spanish, but Los Juegos de Hambre? I think that's what it's called, Los Juegos de Hambre. And then there's also that other, the fifth book that came out, recent book that came out that is Story of Snow. I really want to read that one. So I really want to read that one. So now I'm like, should I just read that one first and then start with the quartet? Or should I read the quartet and then hurry up and read the quartet so I can read the book that I really want to read, which is book 5. Or which is not book 5, but the new one. The Snow Story. The prequel. Okay, I think that's it. That's all that I have. Sorry for the rambling. Thank you so much for watching. Hasta la próxima.